Namaste. I'm Kash. Welcome back to Akashic Song, and I wanted to talk today about journaling. Journaling. J is for journaling. Forgive me if I'm talking a little bit low. It's kind of getting late here, and I don't know, felt like I hadn't gotten on here and talked to you guys in a little bit, or shared with you. I like to say more so shared with you. It's been really hot here. And so by the time it cools off at night, literally we've hit 106. I think today was about 103. So by the time it cools off, I really just want to rest and do nothing. But I am having a very witchy summer, so just wanted to say hi. Hello. I won't do a lot of updates. I'll do another update video because some things actually have shifted and changed in my practice, and so that would actually be really fun to do an update and let you know what is different and what has changed and what's going on with me. But for tonight, I'm getting back to the ABCs of witchcraft, and I'm going to share with you my J video. J is for magical journaling for me. I've had a journaling practice since I was probably a teenager, and I remember being even younger than that and just scribbling random things in notepads, or I remember being really excited for back to school time when there was all the office supplies and stuff that were on sale, and I would go and find a new notebook and folders and all that kind of stuff. So I've just always really been into beautiful notebooks and journals, and I think I've only probably had a diary that had a lock on it at one point in my life when I was a little kid. But at this point in my practice, I have 2 magical journals besides my Book of Shadows, and that's this one that I've had for a couple of years. It's probably more than halfway finished, but there's a reason why I've had it for a couple of years and it's not full yet. And then I have this one that actually says, kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit. So I have 2 for a reason. This leather bound one, I got a couple of Yule seasons ago to just kind of jot down different things that come up in my practice. So I treat this one like a very basic, not basic, but kind of like a basic book of mirrors. I journal about things going on in my life, dreams, when I've gone to workshops, or if I go to meditation retreats. Quite often there's several different chunks of this journal. Oh wow, I've written in a lot more of it than I thought. There's about this much paper left. But I've written on this when I've gone to several meditation retreats. They're silent retreats, so we're actually, not allowed to bring phones or anything like that. And so my kind of practice has been after a full day of meditating and stuff. I jot down any things that come up for me, mantras that are given to me in practice, any things that I realize that I'm working out on my mat, if I'm doing yoga, etc. But yeah, so this one is pretty much, I met a new goddess. Let's see this one. I've gotten readings in here from other witches, like tarot readers. Tarot readings are in here. I just find it to be a really positive way to track different moments in my practice, jewels, things that come up. I took a class on Wicca, and all of that information is in here, so it's a reference but done journal style. So it's not like I could give it to somebody and they could really make sense of what's happening in here. It's more so for me, and actually I really managed to make sure that I dated every entry in that so that I can go back and kind of look through moments. And I'm sorry if you hear that loud noise. It's the washer. It's the washer. It's going to eat us. Cards. Oh, here's a beautiful little card that I guess my parents sent me for my birthday. So yeah, I keep all of that kind of stuff and journal about, New Year's or, whatever, Sabbaths and etc., etc., etc. This one is actually really, really special. So this journal has gone through 2 iterations. I got this originally because a friend of mine mentioned to me that when she was going through kind of a tough time, she started a self-love practice. And I grokked that. That really kind of felt like something that was important for me too. This was a couple years ago. And she was doing this practice with like looking in the mirror and saying different things to yourself, and then journaling every day about experiences and childhood remembrances and things that were hard, things that you were bullied for or whatever, and actually getting all of that down in something that you could process. And so I took that as a good hint for where to start in my own self-love journey. And not to say that I didn't love myself, but there were definitely some things that I have struggled with as an adult, because there were things that came up when I was a teenager, and I managed through all of that. And sometimes you push past things, but that doesn't mean you're healed or you're over it. So this started out as a place to record things that I was healing from or moving through, shadow work, all of that kind of stuff, and specifically treating it as something different from, I saw my dog in the window just staring. See, look, let's see if I can show you him just staring in the window. He's mad because he's outside so that the cats can run the house. Anyway, yeah, so this one is I treat it separately from the Book of Mirrors, because this one is where I'm kind of recording everything, and this one was specifically about self-love things. So if I decided to do like a particular kind of meditative practice around self-love, or I took a walk today and I touched the trees and I just listened to my own voice and I sang by the lake and whatever, blah, 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 right? So anything that was around self-love, shadow work, healing, cleansing, bringing up things to be released, all of that. And then about not even halfway through this journal, I realized that for me, no fighting. Kittens have been fighting today. They're like fighting with each other. You stop it, Jasper. No fighting, okay? You be a good girl. No fighting. Why are you fighting with your sister? Sorry, this video is going to be everywhere today. But I realized that what I actually really wanted to chart in this book was my relationship to the goddess. Because my practice is matrifocal, a lot of my self-love journey is about finding the goddess within myself, and that happens as a result of my practice with the goddesses that come in as guides. So I quickly kind of turned this book over to following my experiences with working with the Divine Feminine as my path to self-love, discovering the Divine Feminine within myself, etc. So a lot of the entries in this book have been about, one of them I wrote a rededication oath to Vesta, who was my initiatory goddess. I talked about that in another video. Another one was talking about my name and how my name was given to me, my witchy name, which you may have noticed has changed a little bit, from Violet Ray to Indigo Ray. That came to me in a lucid dream that I was being renamed, and I'll talk about that in another video because there was a whole experience that went along with that. So there's journaling in here about that name, my name, and what that means to kind of take on another name and what had to be sloughed off as a result of that process. Journaling about my mantra practice with Lakshmi, and now Oshun has come in a very, very bright, beautiful way. I started working with Oshun back in 2015, or actually 2014. 2014. And so there's also journaling about that. She's actually the goddess that brought my husband and I together, and we called her into our wedding ceremony, our hand fasting. So there's journaling in here about Oshun, and our practice is actually now really deepening right now. So magical journaling, I would say, is like really, really important, because I'm a lover of automatic writing as a psychically inclined person. When you allow yourself to just sit with a pen and write and not think too hard about what you're going to talk about, something really magical happens. Your subconscious is able to be pulled really forward onto the page, and you're not doing a lot of editing, you're not censoring yourself, because it's not for anyone but you. But something happens in automatic writing if you just ask, hey, higher self, let's talk about that interesting dream that we had last night, and how, you don't even have to worry about making the connection, or I feel like I don't have to even worry about making the connection as to why this is somehow related to my self-love practice or goddess worship or whatever. I just start talking, and I know immediately whether what I'm getting ready to journal about goes in this book of mirrors or in the goddess as self-love practice journal. But either way, these are my two good friends, and we spent a lot of time together. And I would say that if you don't really know how to begin doing journaling, a good place to start would be, if you work with deity, to ask them, what is the primary focus of your work right now with that deity? And that will give you an idea of where to focus your journaling, or how to even begin. If you know that you're doing shadow work around healing, childhood trauma, that's going to be exactly where you start. And you can actually use prompts. I have a set of poetry cards that sometimes I do use as prompts for magical journaling. And I don't remember the artist's name off the top of my head right now, and so I don't want to not give her credit at all. But so basically, I bought poetry that was in the form of cards, and I shuffle them and just pull one random out, and maybe it says something like, today the sky fell. And they're really short blurbs like that, and that'll be the beginning of my journaling. If I can remember it, I will go and find the cards so I can put them here, because I think that's important to give credit where credit's due. But you could do that with tarot. You could pick up the tarot cards and pull the Empress, number 3, and just go, the Empress, blah, 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 blah. Like your higher self is gonna know the direction to take that in. So I encourage you, if you do not do magical journaling, that it is a really beautiful thing to add to your practice, and it will enrich your life, your psychic well-being. So that's it. I want to say that it has been a really intense summer, and I am doing my best to try to be steadfast. I know that it's been a full month since I've made a video, but I've gone through a lot of changes, and that will be in the update video that I do next. But there has been a lot happening, and sometimes you do actually have to just stop and allow your practice to hold your focus instead of trying to communicate everything that you're doing in the moment. Just do that also. Like, maybe everything doesn't need to be plopped on Instagram right away. Kind of take a minute and absorb what just happened before you try to communicate it to anyone. That's where I was. I just kind of needed to take a minute and absorb what was happening around me and within me before I could try to communicate with you all again. So I want to say, if you are not subscribed to my channel, feel free to click that subscribe button, or that little notification bell if you want to get notified when I make a video, since I don't make a video every single week. I'm working on that, but no promises. I'm a Gemini, okay? Blessings to you all. May you have a beautiful start to your week. Namaste.